say we apologize for last week's technical difficulties. Me and Payne are still working on this thing, and I think we got to figure it out. So, hopefully we don't get that bad lag like last time. We felt bad for the fans, but we should be good now.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry guys. I really apologize. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both our computers there just kind of.
Yeah, we were uploading videos all day, so
it was tough.
Let's give it a minute. Let's let the notifications come in. Let's jump right into it.
Heck yeah, sounds good. Yeah, people starting to join in. What's up, guys? Drop some comments, drop some questions. If you guys got any questions for this card, I mean, UFC 258, man. How you feeling about it, Payne? You liking it?
I'm excited, but I feel like last week's card was better.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, pay-per-view. This is a pay-per-view card. People are supposed to pay for this. But, overall, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for the fights overall. I'll watch two ants fight on the ground. So,
yeah, man. For me, it's the co-main event. I mean, you're paying for Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso as the co-main event. It's kind of tough,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they should have moved the Corey Sandhagen Frankie Edgar fight to this card as the co-main event. I feel like that would have been a smart choice.
Yeah, and actually, we can just talk about that and recap that real quick while people are coming in. Wow, what a performance, Brad. The Sandman.
Dude, I
felt bad for Frankie Edgar, though.
Yeah, that was the gnarliest knee. Well, other than Jorge Masvidal's, that was the gnarliest knee I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That clipped him right
100,000%. Clipped him right on the chin and just fell like a tree.
That was wild. And then Volkov over him. I mean, we both had Overeem, but I forgot how big Volkov looked compared to Overeem. Overeem looked like a freaking flyweight in there with that guy.
Honestly, Overeem kind of looked scared to me.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense. He
looked hesitant.
In the first 10 seconds of the fight, his back was against the cage with his hands up. Yeah. It just I don't know. It didn't look like he necessarily showed up. I know he has more talent than that, but whatever. Hey guys, and anyone that's watching right now, throw some comments in the chat and we'll answer them as we go along. Smash that like button for us. It helps us out greatly.
Yeah, hit that like button, my people. We appreciate it. But do you wanna get into this, Payne?
Yeah, let's get right into it.
All right, man. So the first fight we got a female fight to start it off. Miranda Maverick versus Gillian Robertson. Who you feeling, man?
Yeah, so in this flyweight bout, we have Gillian Robertson versus Miranda Maverick. Robertson's coming into this fight with a 9-5-0 record. Maverick's coming into this fight with a 10-2-0 record. Miranda Maverick is coming into this fight as a slight favorite at -140. Robertson's coming in as a slight underdog at +120. Maverick is on a 6-fight win streak, and she won her UFC debut. She has fought a lot of competition on the regional scene in Invicta. She's going to have a significant striking advantage in this fight. And then we have Gillian Robertson. This is Gillian's last fight on her UFC contract, so that's definitely worth noting. She's really struggled with consistency. She lost 2 out of her last 4 fights. Overall, Robertson has more UFC experience, but Maverick has fought relatively good competition. I really do think that the clearest path for victory is for Gillian to land a submission, but I really don't see that happening. So my pick in this fight is Miranda Maverick wins by decision at +150.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Miranda Maverick, a lot of people are high on this girl. They think she may be the future, and, she could. She throws bombs. She has heavy hands. You saw in her UFC debut, she took a huge win, just ragdolling this girl. I think she broke the girl's nose. The girl couldn't continue anymore. So, this girl throws bombs. And like you said, man, if the only way Jillian's going to win this, if she gets it on the ground, I don't think she's able to do that. I think Miranda Maverick is the truth. And, this is a crazy pick, but I'm going Miranda Maverick via KO. I mean, I know Payne's not going to agree with it, but
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think she knocks her with something. I watched Gillian get knocked out by Macy Barber, I believe, and Gillian Robertson does not impress me, and she is sleepable. So Miranda Maverick via KO +425. There's the value right there, baby.
Damn. All right. There is a lot of value there, but
there's value there.
It's questionable. So right. I'll jump right into the next fight. The next fight's welterweight. We got Gabe Green versus that's coming into this fight with a 9-3-0 record. A slight favorite at -135. And then we've got Philip Rowe. He has a record of 7-2-0. He's coming in as a slight underdog at +115. This is going to be a great fight and definitely has potential for fight of the night, in my opinion. Green lost his last fight against Daniel Rodriguez in his UFC debut, but he did take that fight on short notice. But with Philip Rowe, he does have a 7-inch reach advantage. But the concerning thing for me, at least, is he doesn't use it. He doesn't utilize it at all. He is on a 6-7 fight win streak, and he's making his UFC debut. His last UFC fight, or his last fight, was against Shabazian on Dana White Contender Series. I think the best pick in this is to go under 2.5 at -120. I mean, if you did want a bigger payout, you could go by Green wins by KO or TKO at +450.
Yeah, man, this is an interesting one. Philip Rowe just has that one win over the Dana White Contender Series. Hasn't fought since 2019. Had 3 fights scheduled. All of them got canceled. People pulling out, COVID, all types of things. And man, he's had an interesting career. He started his pro career losing his first 2 fights, stuck with it, won 7 fights in a row, and now is fighting on the biggest stage in the world. So, man, that's a pretty cool story there. And really this fight comes down to, if Gabe Green is able to get inside that long range of Philip Rowe and catches him with something, or, if he's able to continue landing punches on the longer Philip Rowe, then, I think he wins. But personally, man, I think Philip Rowe is able to keep him at distance, use that reach, and just poke him apart from the outside and get this win. So I'm taking Philip Rowe money line at +115. And then next we got Ricky Simón versus Brian Kelleher. Who you feeling on this one, Payne?
Yeah, so this is a featherweight fight. Simone's coming in with a 17-3-0 record. Keller's coming in with a 22-11-0 record. Ricky Simone's kind of coming in as a heavy favorite at -250. Keller's a +210 underdog. Simone is 2-2 in his last 4 fights. He does have notable wins over Ray Borg, Gaetano Perello, Montel Jackson. He did actually fight, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and he absolutely dominated the guy, took him down probably 10 to 11 times. It was incredible. But on the other hand, we have Brian Kelleher. He has won 3 out of his last 4 fights. His last loss was to Cody Stamann, but he does have notable wins over Ray Rodriguez, Hunter Azur, and Odd Osborne, who had a really impressive performance last Saturday. Kelleher is extremely dangerous, and he has an insane guillotine and a lot of power in his punch. As long as Simone is able to avoid getting submitted or caught by Keller's devastating left hook, I really do think he'll win this fight. So my pick is Ricky Simón by decision at -135.
Yeah, man. I mean, Ricky Simón coming off that crazy win against Portello. Took Portello down 7 times, and Ricky Simón's just a grinder. He's gonna try to out wrestle you, take you down over and over again. But man, I said in our single videos today, a wrestler's worst enemy is a guy who has a good guillotine, and that's what Brian Kelleher has. That's his specialty. So, I'm going to take my chances with Brian Kelleher on this one. I'm just looking for value here, and I feel like there's a lot of value with Brian Kelleher at +210. So give me Brian Kelleher, money line at +210. I think he's able to lock in a guillotine.
Hey.
So,
and then to open
different sides so far,
Yeah, we have them. I don't think we've agreed on a single one so far.
Me neither.
And then in the prelims, which start at 8 p.m. on ESPN, we have Mallory Martin versus Pollyanna Viana. Mallory Martin's 7-3-0. She's coming into this fight. It's a slight favorite at -155. Pollyanna Viana is +135 underdog. Honestly, this was another really tough fight to predict. It's a really low-level fight, in my opinion. Pollyanna Viana, she did win her last fight against Emily Whitmire, but before that fight, she was on a 3-fight losing streak, and she lost to Veronica Macedo via submission first round, Hannah Cyphers, and JJ Aldrich. Then we got Mallory Martin. Martin won her UFC debut against Hannah Cyphers, and which is actually a common opponent between both of these fighters, but Pollyanna Viana lost to her. Martin needs to get top control in this fight, but Pollyanna likes to fight off her back. Martin needs to just stay safe while she's in top control. And if she does that throughout the fight, I really do think that she'll be able to pull this off. So my pick in this fight is Mallory Martin by decision at +105.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough fight to pick. I mean, both these girls, early in their career, and for me, it's just I got to go with the grappler here. Pollyanna has some decent boxing, but I'm taking the wrestler here. I think Mallory Martin's able to, take Pollyanna down multiple times over and over again. and come out with this win. So I'm taking Mallory Martin via decision at plus 115. Me and Payne are on the same side on this one, and we both love that pick.
And we actually have a message in our chat from Sean Harper. What's up, Sean? He says Billy Football versus Jake Paul fight of the year 2021.
Did you watch that
Billy Football
fight?
I didn't watch it live, nah. But I did watch the highlight. I think he threw the fight. Or like once he was in there, he just, he didn't want to be, he decided he didn't want to be there anymore.
Just took
the dive. He made $1 million, so I don't really feel bad for him.
Yeah, no, it was bad though.
For 8 seconds. Yeah.
I want to see a war in that fight. I mean, it's a silly fight, but that was some funny stuff. But you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah. So in our next fight, we have Belal Muhammad at 17-3-0 record versus Diego Lima with 17-7-0 record. Muhammad's coming into this fight as a minus 400 favorite, which I think Vegas has the odds right. Lima is a plus 325 underdog. Muhammad's 8-2 in his last UFC fights. He's currently on a 3-fight win streak. And then we've got Diego Lima. Lima lost to Jesse Taylor in debatably my favorite season of The Ultimate Fighter, season 25. He is on a 3-fight win streak, and he has notable wins over Court McGee and Chad LaPrice. His last 2 fights were canceled in 2020. Don't see a clear path for victory for Lima. Muhammad is extremely well-rounded fighter, and I think he's honestly going to win this fight really easily. For those reasons, I'm going to go with Belal Muhammad wins by decision.
Yeah, man. Like you said, Diego Lima, been doing the thing forever. Always been a fan of him. Seems like a good guy. That tough season he was on, he was always fun to watch, and just a solid all-around fighter. On a 3-fight winning streak, for a second there, it kind of looked rough for Diego Lima, but, it seems like we have a resurgence in his career. But, man, he's facing a tough Belal Muhammad who, he's always tough, likes to bring the pressure, puts guys against the fence, and, just grinds out wins. So, I don't know, man. The only way Lima's going to be able to win this fight is if, he's able to create distance and keep the fight on the outside and just use his striking. But I don't know. I feel like that's going to be a tough task to pull off. So I'm taking Belal Muhammad via decision at minus 145 as well. I feel like that's really the only play here. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
First one we've agreed on.
Yeah, for real.
That's what we've agreed on. There we go.
Finally.
And then in the next fight, we have Rodolfo Vieira coming in with a 7-0-0 record. He's fighting Anthony Hernandez, who's coming in with a 7-2-0 record. Rodolfo Vieira is a minus 390 favorite, and Anthony Hernandez is a plus 320 underdog. Vieira, he has a perfect 7-0 record, and his last UFC win was in March 2020 against Saparbeg Safarov, and he won via arm triangle choke in first round. He is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and is dangerous. Then we got Anthony Hernandez. If Vieira is able to get this fight to the ground and land the submission, Hernandez doesn't necessarily have the knockout power, so I'm not worried about him knocking out Vieira. But there's no value taking Vieira money line at minus 390 or Vieira by submission at minus 185. But I think the value's in the prop bet. For those reasons, my pick is Vieira wins in round 1 plus 100.
Yeah, man. This is a tough fight to handicap because there's one thing that's going to happen in this fight. I know in a fight anyone could win, but Vieira is going to submit Anthony Hernandez. There's just no question about it. Vieira is, one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world. One of the best, probably maybe the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the UFC. So, yeah, this is going to be easy work for him. He's going to submit Anthony Hernandez. And the only play here really is that round 1 submission or round 2, I would say. I don't think this lasts to round 3. But, yeah, man, I'm going to have to go with you on that round 1 submission, Vieira. What were the odds on that?
Plus 100. So even betting. Money.
I know it's hard.
Yeah,
betting,
I would lock that as well.
Yeah, I know it's hard betting.
It's rough betting him.
Yep. For only plus
I'm pretty sure 7 out of his last 7 fights have ended in the first round via submission.
Yep.
So I'll take it, especially against Anthony Hernandez.
Yep.
Anyways, we've got in the next fight we've got Jim Miller versus Bobby Green. Miller's coming into his fight with a 32-15-0 record. Green's coming in with a 27-11-0 record. Bobby Green's coming in as a heavy favorite at minus 260, and Jim Miller's coming in as plus 205. Miller lost his last fight against Vince Pichel via decision in August 2020. And before his last loss, he did beat Roosevelt Roberts from Bar in the first round. You know, Miller is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. And then on the other hand, we have Bobby Green. And what really worries me about Bobby Green is he just has terrible fight IQ. He lost his last fight against Thiago Moses in October 2020, but you can't put too much stock in that loss because Thiago Moses is an up-and-coming prospect. He's won 3 out of his last 4 fights and 9 out of 9 of Green's last fight. And so for those reasons, my pick is Bobby Green by decision at -125.
Yeah, man, this is a fun fight we have here. You know, I actually think this fight was supposed to in the prelims, but they moved it to the main card. I looked this morning, which is interesting. But, you know, I love watching both these guys fight. Jim Miller's coming off a loss. Bobby Green's coming off a loss. And you never know what you're going to get with Bobby Green, man. Sometimes he looks amazing. Sometimes he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing in there. So it's tough for me to bet on him. But, you know, I think he's able to pull this one out too. Out volume Jim Miller and get a decision win. Don't love the odds at -130, but I feel like that's the only play to do here. So I'll take Bobby Green via decision as well.
And I believe the next fight opens up the main card.
Yep.
And by the way, the main card for any viewers, it's on pay-per-view. I know Brad and I talked earlier about we don't do it with this card being pay-per-view quality, but whatever. But anyways, view it on pay-per-view at 10 p.m. All right, we'll jump right into it, though. Opening up the main card is Maki Potolo coming in with a 13-7-0 record versus Julian Marquez coming in with a 7-2-0 record. Potolo is coming in as a +140 slight underdog, and Marquez 165 slight favorite. Potolo has lost his last 2 fights, and he has incredible knockout power. And the only path for victory, clear path for victory I see for him is by KO. And if he doesn't knock out Marquez, he's not going to win this fight. And then Julian Marquez, he's training at a Glory MMA with James Krause, and it's been over a year since his last fight. And he lost to D. Chirico in 2018. And so he's been really inactive, which somewhat is concerning as well. But Marquez has never. But my best advice is really to just stay away from this fight. But if you had to put a pick on it, I would say Marquez by decision at +265. I think there is a pretty good amount of value there.
Yeah, man. This should be a war and all around just a fun fight. Both these guys just love to throw bombs and finish people. So, you know, Potolo's coming into this one with 10 finishes. Julian is coming in with 8. Potolo's coming off 2 losses. And, you know, his record, he hasn't really fought too many good guys. So, you know, I think Julian gets the job done here in a finish. So I'm taking Julian Marquez inside the distance at +160.
Somebody just put in the chat that my mic is cutting in and out.
Yeah, it's honestly lagging again really bad. You know, I still hear you, but I think it may be like a Wi-Fi problem with you or something over at that place.
Well, we'll figure it out. I'll just throw out my picks real quick, and I don't want to give you guys a laggy call if that's good with you, Brad.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so in the Andre Ewell versus Chris Gutierrez fight, it's a bantamweight fight. I would go with Andre. I think there's a lot of value with him and plus money. And then we got Kevin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. In that fight, I think you got to go Gastelum. You know, Gastelum has been disappointing in his last 2 fights. You know, he was a punch away from winning the title against Israel Adesanya and unfortunately couldn't finish it. But I think he bounces back here and I'm giving him a handout with Ian Heinisch. Then we got Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. I would go Macy Barber money line at +120. I think there's a lot of value with her. And then in the main event, we have Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, the #1 contender, 19-3-0 record. Usman's coming in with 17-1-0 record. He is this champ right now in the welterweight division. You know, my pick is Kamaru Usman wins by decision at +105. I think that's the best value. Most of his fights have gone to decision. So I really like that. And then I also wrote down a parlay for you guys real quick. I would go with Miranda Maverick +150 to win by decision. I would go Mallory Martin wins by decision at +105. And then I would go Bums by decision at -125. And if you throw $100 on that, you win $822.
Damn.
And my dog of the day is Macy Barber +120.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to hop off, Brad.
Yep. Thank you, Payne. We'll figure this
You got
out.
it?
We'll figure
Yeah,
it
we'll
out.
figure it. This show's a work in progress, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. All right. Yeah, man, we're just I think it's Payne when Payne's in college right now and when he is at his parents' house, the stream works perfectly. But when he goes back to his place in Tallahassee, it just starts lagging. So I think we have a Wi-Fi problem there. So we'll figure it out. But man, I'll take you through these last four. What is it? 4 fights? Yeah. So we left off on Andre Ewell versus Chris Gutierrez. This fight was supposed to be scheduled, or this fight got scheduled on Monday, and is actually a catchweight fight at plus 145. So these guys won't be having too bad of a cut. And man, this is a tough one to pick because Ewell was training to fight Cody Stamann, Cody Stamann, however you say it. But Cody Stamann wasn't able to fight, so he was training for a guy who mostly just wrestles and takes you down, and now he has to fight Chris Gutierrez, which is a totally different style. So kind of wonder what's going through his mind, but man, I think the value here is with Andre Ewell. Just so lengthy, like Payne says. 7-inch reach advantage. Like I think he's able to strike Chris Gutierrez on the outside and just out volume. So I think the value here is with Andre Ewell. It's going to be a close fight though. Kind of scary to put some money on it, but I'm feeling Andre Ewell money line. Next is one that I'm super excited about: Kevin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. Man, Kevin Gastelum's kind of had a rough stretch lately, but man, he's a solid fighter. He's no joke. He knows how to get the win. He just grinds out wins, and Ian also is also a good fighter. You can always expect him to come out, do his thing, but man, Ian just doesn't have the best cardio. And just watch the Stylebender versus Kelvin Gastelum fight. He was able to hang in there with Stylebender for I think all 5 rounds, and then got finished at the end there. But I mean, I'm picking Kelvin in this fight. I think he gets back on track. I think he wins all 3 rounds easily, and I think there's a lot of value with Kelvin Gastelum via decision at plus 105. I don't see Ian Heinisch getting slept. It could happen, but I'm feeling Kelvin via decision on this one. And then next we got the co-main event: Macy Barber versus Alexa Grasso. Macy Barber coming off that surprising loss against Roxanne Modafferi. Suffered a torn ACL, and she's been off for a year. Should be interesting to see how she looks on this return. And then she's facing Alexa Grasso, who's always solid, always a tough fight. Has fought some of the best girls in the world, and Macy's still super young in her career. This is another tough fight to pick, but Alexa got just good solid boxing, nothing too crazy, and then Macy Barber throws more of the bombs, more heavy shots, gets in the pocket and makes the fight a little dirty. So I don't know. For me, I can't take Alexa Grasso in this fight. She's just too inconsistent, and I still believe that Macy Barber is a high level fighter, and I think she could have a great future in this. Not even in this division, but in the UFC, and could be a star. A lot of people don't like her personality. I think she's all right. I've never been a Macy Barber hater, but I'm taking Macy Barber money line plus 120. I think there's some good value there. And next we got the main event, man. And man, y'all may disagree with me on this one, man. We got Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns. I think Payne brought it up, but these guys used to be good friends. These guys used to be training partners. Gilbert Burns has seen what Kamaru Usman can bring. He has felt it, pause. But he's trained with Usman for years and has probably sparred with him 100 times. I think this is definitely Usman's toughest test. The way Kamaru Usman wins his fights is by wrestling. Other than the Colby Covington fights, he brings the pressure, tries to put you against the fence and hold you there and keep you on the ground. But Gilbert Burns has great wrestling too. And not only does Gilbert Burns have great wrestling, he has some of the best world-class jiu-jitsu in the UFC. And that's going to strike a problem from Kamaru Usman. I also think Gilbert Burns is a better all-around striker than Kamaru Usman. So, you know what? I'm taking Gilbert Burns money line. He is going to win this fight on Saturday at plus 240. That's the pick, man. I know it's hard to bet against Usman because he just looks so dominant in every single one of his fights, but I just think Gilbert Burns has more tools to work with. He's just a better all-around fighter. I mean, look, like we see with so when Usman fought Woodley, like that's not the same Tyron Woodley. Then he fought Colby, another good wrestler. He didn't try any takedowns. He tried to strike with Colby. And then he fights Jorge, easy work. Those matches, it's just a bad matchup for Jorge. And now he fights Gilbert Burns, who has good wrestling, who in my opinion has better striking than Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, who has better jiu-jitsu than any other fighter he has. So, man, the value here is with Gilbert Burns plus 240. So that's what I'm taking. It's a crazy pick just because how good Kamaru Usman has been looking. So that's what we're going with, though. And then my parlay, I'm feeling Mallory Martin decision, Muhammad via decision, Bobby Green via decision, and then my underdog of the day is Gilbert Burns, baby. Let's go. But yeah, that's gonna do it, man. I appreciate you all watching. Me and Payne are gonna figure out these technical difficulties. I don't know what's going on. We try to mess with the settings. I swear it's a Wi-Fi thing, but we'll figure it out. We'll get the show rolling. We'll also drop separate videos for each fight, kind of how like the putt dogs do it with hockey. So we'll get those up probably tomorrow. And yeah, man, I appreciate